Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? 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 See, we got some people in here already. How y'all doing? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I know it's been a while since we gone live. How y'all doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. We are finally live again. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Check in. Check in. How you guys doing? Check in. What's going on? What's going on? Depressed. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, man. Check in. Check in. Let's give everybody a chance to check in. Make sure as you guys are coming in, hit those likes. Make sure you guys, as you come in, hit those likes. Let's give everyone a chance to catch up to the live here. Okay, check in, check in, check in, check in. Again, for those of you guys that have been missing us on these live chats, we've been live chatting throughout the playoffs. So if you guys want to live chat with us, Marco has posted the link to Dreamerspro Max. He has pinned that to the top, and it is there. So if you guys want to live chat with us during these games, make sure you guys go ahead and sign up to Dreamerspro Max. Candace was good. Mark, how you doing? Charlie was good. I'm seeing some people in here. What's good? What's good? O2 again. Yes, it has to be that way. It has to be that way. Today we got a good live. We got a good live coming up for you guys. I know it's been a while since we've gone live, so hopefully we make it worth your while today. So let's just give it the usual. Let's give it a few minutes. Let's allow people to come on in, and we will get it going. While we're in here, while we're waiting for people to come in here, let me keep it lighthearted. Lorenzo, what's good? How you doing, man? How did we let Payne score 20, 29 on us? Okay, real quick. Few things before we get started. Real quick. What did I want to say? Yeah, almost 14K, man. It's unreal. It's unreal, man. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's been a roller coaster here on the channel, and we're doing our best to keep the content coming. Real quick. So this is what we're gonna do. Again, I noticed that some people follow us on different places, and we haven't been really let's say following up with people on other platforms. You know, YouTube is our main place, YouTube and Dreamerspro Max. But we also know there's a community out there, people that are on Instagram. So what we're going to do is this. Marco, at a certain point during this live today, we're definitely going to post, we're going to pin our YouTube, what do you call it? Our our Instagram link. As a matter of fact, Marco can drop it there. So again, if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, we are definitely going to be giving you guys a shout out during this live. So we just have to find the right time to post it on there. If you guys want to stick around to the end, if you sign up to or follow us on Instagram, we're definitely going to give you guys a shout out. Bolo, no, we're not on Twitter. No, Twitter, I can't do Twitter, man. I can't do Twitter. As you guys know, it's a lot of work producing content and working on the platform, and we got a website coming up. So it's only two of us. Okay, here they come. I see MM heating up. What's good? Thank you for following. I appreciate that. Marco, yeah, just follow us on Instagram on Dreamers Pro. Marco just posted that there too, so you guys can follow us on Instagram, and we'll definitely give you guys a shout out as you come in Q1. Thank you for following us. We really appreciate that. So just make sure you guys follow us on Instagram so we can get to some of you, because I know some people. Lo Williams, thanks for following. I know some people actually are on Instagram more, so I appreciate that. Harmon, thank you for following. I'm seeing you guys coming in. Grind so me can shine. Bonet Chima. Huh, that sounds like a Nigerian name. Chima, okay. Thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for signing up. Let's give it like another minute or so while we wait for people to come on in. Thank you guys for following us. As you guys come in, we'll be shouting you out. Marcos Sayon, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for following us on IG. This is I can't pronounce that name. Giorso, thank you for following us there. Let's give it about 30 seconds. So as people come in, I'll be shouting you out as you're coming in. And then if you guys follow us towards the end of the live, I'm going to give as many shout outs as I can to people signing up. So we appreciate that. Just so, because I know there are people on Instagram that want to keep in touch too. So I said, hey, why not? Why not tell people about it? We haven't done a good job. So if you guys want to follow us on IG, we've pinned it to the top of the comment section. Marco's pinned it there. So make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. We would appreciate that. Okay, let's give it 20 more seconds and we'll get started. Make sure y'all hit the likes and we will get started. 20 more seconds. I got a very good live for you today. So let's just and also say what's good to Marco. Marco's also in here as well. Marco's the one posting these stuff, and Marco, Marco is the mastermind behind everything that you see that looks good on Dreamers Pro. You got to give a shout out to Marco, man, because Marco's holding us down. So give a shout out to Marco as well, and then we'll get it started in about 10 seconds. Let's get it started in about 10 seconds, and we'll get it going. 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 Okay. All right. So before we get started, for the new people coming in, make sure you hit the like button so notifications go out. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, try to follow us on Instagram. We're going to give as many shout outs. I'm going to go through the list of people that have followed us on IG. We're going to give you guys a shout out. And also, if you guys want to live chat during these games, you can sign up to Dreamerspro Max, which will also be posting there. So we're giving you guys that information. So let's get it going. Okay. I know it's been a few days, and we haven't had a time. We haven't had a chance yet to go live. So because we've been busy doing some other stuff. But today, I think it was the best time for us to go live. So first of all, let's get into the game. So first of all, last night was a crazy game. It was a crazy game. We were on there on David, thanks for following. We were on where were we on? We were on Dreamerspro Max. And it was a crazy game. Marvin Acosta says, Mr. Charles, we all know Ayton tipped that ball in. Team is man, that really cost us. Yeah, it was thanks for that. It was a tough way to lose a game. It was a tough way to lose a game. Candace, Leo, these refs are trash. Yeah, I know, man. I know. Skip Bayless brought it up today, which is really rare. You rarely hear a person on TV say that that the refs lost the game. You rarely hear that. But Skip Bayless came out today and said it. So I'm a bit surprised that he had kind of the balls to say something like that. So that was a little bit surprising. But anyway, let me get into my analysis here, and then we'll be doing the feedback as we normally do. Going into that game yesterday, I think when we did a live for game one, I think we said that we usually wait to give predictions after the first or second game in the playoff in a series. Why is that? Because in the first game, you really never know what the teams are going to do. I think the coaches' staffs on both teams don't really know. I think they play the first game, you take your best shot, and then whoever loses makes adjustments. I think usually that's what happens. So after game one, I wanted to see what the Clippers would do as far as adjustments. So when the game started, people on Dreamerspro Max would tell you, when the game started, I knew Ty Lue was going to make adjustments. We all know that. And we know he's probably the best coach in the NBA and making adjustments, something that Doc Rivers, for whatever reason, could not seem to do. I don't know why. We saw a video of Josh Smith, the former Atlanta Hawk, came out and started talking about Doc Rivers not being able to make adjustments. So I thought that was pretty interesting that he came out and said that, but whatever. So I knew Ty Lue was going to make adjustments, but the adjustments that he ultimately made totally caught me off guard. And I think I said this when we were chatting live during the game. I was surprised at the lineup that he brought out there. He decided to go with a completely different lineup. Now, we all know that Ty Lue started these playoffs with a conventional lineup with Vincent Zubac starting, and then ultimately he went to that small ball lineup, which I think gave him the most success in the playoffs. But remember, Kawhi Leonard is not playing, so it's not really that same small ball lineup. You're replacing Kawhi Leonard with Terrence Mann, and Terrence Mann is a good second-year player, but he's not Kawhi Leonard, right? So when he started the game, he decided to go with Paul George, which is what we knew that. He started Marcus Morris Sr. and Reggie Jackson, but he made two changes with Patrick Beverly and Ivica Zubac. I was surprised to see that, to be quite honest with you. And I remember saying it in the chat. I said I needed to see what exactly this lineup would do. So I spent the first quarter trying to understand what he was trying to achieve with that lineup, because I really didn't know. I'm like, okay, he went to this lineup for a reason. There's something he's trying to achieve. I just couldn't figure it out what exactly he was trying to what exactly he was trying to do. Now, I think the adjustment of starting Patrick Beverly really affected Devin Booker. Patrick Beverly bothered Devin Booker. There's just no two ways about it, because Devin Booker could not get into a rhythm. He just couldn't get into a rhythm. He couldn't. Patrick Beverly was a pest, and he really bothered him. And this is one of the reasons why I say we got to be careful of being prisoners of the moment, like being Stephen A. Smith. And we got a great video coming out later today that you guys want to check out. Well, you got to be careful with this kind of stuff. You go out there, you say stuff, and then you end up making a fool of yourself. Devin Booker is a very good offensive player, very talented player, has a beautiful jump shot. And actually, when I watch him shoot, it's actually beautiful to see him watch. I think he has a better looking release, and the way he gets off the floor is really, it's very gracious. He has a very gracious looking jump shot to watch. But let's just be honest. This is why you can't get into this thing of talking about Devin Booker as the next Kobe Bryant. We gotta stop that. There's no way in hell that Patrick Beverly could bother Kobe. How do I know this? Because I saw Kobe in his early 30s being guarded by Kawhi Leonard when he was in Toronto. I mean, not in Toronto, when he was with the San Antonio Spurs, and Kobe was just basically toying with him. He was toying with him. He would, dribble, pump fake, pull up. Pump fake, get Kawhi in the air, spin, draw. Like it looked easy for Kobe to score on Kawhi. This is Kawhi. So Patrick Beverly definitely. D Book is only 24. Do you know who Kobe was at 24? Do people know who Kobe Bryant was at 24? Do people know what he was accomplishing at the age of 24? So we got to chill with that, right? We got to chill with that. We saw where this whole Ben Simmons, LeBron James thing is coming. You saw where that we got to chill with that. Like, let people be who they are, and let's chill with all of this super like, oh, this guy, like, you saw the Donovan Mitchell, Karl Malone comments. We got to relax with that. Like, you end up making a fool out of yourself. We got to chill with that. People were saying after 2-3 games in the playoffs that Donovan Mitchell was better than Karl Malone. We got to chill with that. Like, chill out with that. Starting Patrick Beverly definitely affected Devin Booker because he couldn't get into a rhythm. Booker ended up finishing the first quarter with 4 points. He shot 20% in the first quarter, right? So Patrick Beverly starting definitely affected him. That's the first thing. You got to give credit to the coach for that. And I think starting Zubac brought some pros and cons to that starter lineup. We talked about this on Dreamerspro Max. One of the things that allowed them to do was it allowed the Clippers to control the glass. Payne was able to get a lot of those tip shots and tip rebounds to themselves, tip outs in game one. They could not do that in game two because Ivica Zubac was actually allowing them to control the glass. Both teams ended up finishing that first quarter with 12 rebounds, with 3 offensive rebounds respectively for both teams. So I think Zubac really helped them around the glass. I think also he clogged up the paint for defenders. Now, obviously, this guy, I forgot his name, Payne or whatever it was, this guy was still finding a way to beat the defenders off the dribble and get into the paint and really score there. But I think Zubac really clogged up the lane. But also, there's a negative effect of that because when you have Zubac on the floor, it hurts your spacing. You saw the Clippers weren't able to get as many clean looks as they got with that small ball lineup with Nicholas Batum at the 4 because Nicholas Batum would just go stand out in the 3-point line. And with them moving the ball and his ability to move quickly, the Clippers had a lot better looks from the 3-point line, and they didn't really shoot as well. I think on the for the Phoenix Suns side, I think Payne is a bit faster at moving his feet and recovering. Zubac was hurting the Clippers on some of his late rotations. Payne was a lot better. Payne did a much better job of recovering to some of those shooters. So I think the Suns ultimately won that matchup at the 5 spot, ultimately. But I think starting Patrick Beverly definitely affected Devin Booker because Devin Booker, who y'all are calling Kobe, the next Kobe Bryant, and y'all got to chill with that. Devin Booker had 5 points in the first half. He had 5 points at the first half. And you got to give Patrick Beverly some credit for that. Patrick Beverly was getting into him. He was, making it uncomfortable for him. He was picking him up full court. He just stayed attached to his body for the entire first half, right? So you got to give credit to that. You got to give credit to Ty Lue for having the foresight to say, you know what, let's start Patrick Beverly in this game. You got to give credit to the coach for doing that. So I thought that was really good. Them holding or limiting Devin Booker to only 5 points in the first half. The problem was that PG was also struggling in the first half. He only ended up having 4 points in the first half. So by the time they got into halftime, the game was still very close because both of their stars weren't playing well. Both of the stars were struggling, right? And then going into that third quarter, Booker continued to struggle in the third. and PG was able to score 7 points in that third quarter. Now, Payne, let me see what's his name. I have his name here. Let me just confirm his name. His name is Camp. Camp. No, what's his name? The guy. Just a minute here. I think I have his name. What's his name? Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne. He basically kept the Suns in the game. He basically kept them in the game. He scored 29 points. He basically kept them in the game. It wasn't because of the other players. It was just him, right? He was the one guy that the Clippers get loose. Now, get loose. Now, from a strategic standpoint, I think the Clippers' game plan was fantastic. If you're going to lose a game, I would rather lose a game with Cameron Payne scoring 29 points than Devin Booker hitting you up for 36 points. So from a game plan perspective, the Clippers had the right game plan. It's tantamount to letting the Clippers beat you with Reggie Jackson instead of Paul George. So it was a good game plan, and the Clippers basically said, you know what? If this guy is going to be the guy to beat us, let him beat us. But they would not allow Devin Booker to get off, and I thought that was a good strategy, to be quite honest with you. I thought it was a good strategy. Now, the Suns in that third quarter, they ultimately ended up outscoring the Clippers 27-4 in the third quarter. But I think overall, although the Clippers were able to kind of muck up the game and dirty up the game, I think they were doing a good job overall, considering the fact that they were on the road, considering the fact that Paul George was not playing well. They were still within striking distance. And I remember us saying this in the chat. Candace, she's there. She'll remember. Some people in it. That when I think Mark was there, I think some people will remember. I was saying that listen, this game is within striking distance, and for whatever reason, the Clippers just could not seem to seize control of the game. But it was there. It was there. Now, there was a play that happened, I think, was it in the third quarter with Patrick Beverly and Devin Booker? I think it was just an inadvertent foul. Like, who in their right mind would want to headbutt somebody and then burst their own head in the process? I think most people that headbutt people in a fight, because I've headbutt somebody before in a fight, you don't headbutt the person with the intention of you hurting yourself. That's not the whole point. That's not the whole purpose of a headbutt. So Patrick Beverly headbutting Devin Booker inadvertently, I just think that was just a freak play, and I don't think it was a flagrant foul. So I was very happy that the refs did not overreact in that moment. I was very happy about that because these guys can do anything. They could have ended up throwing them out of the game, right? Adrian, 2 close games that were winnable drop similar to the Utah series. I still think the Clippers can win this series. We need to hit open shots. I think you make a good point, Adrian. I think you make a solid point. I think your point is your point is well received, because I would have to agree. I would have to agree, given the fact of what just transpired in the previous 2 rounds, especially in that second round. I would have to agree. I think you make a solid point. Thanks for leaving that comment. I would have to agree. I would have to agree. So going into the fourth quarter, make sure you guys hit the likes, guys. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Let me just get a sip of water here. So make sure you guys hit the likes so we get the notifications out. So going into the fourth quarter, going into that fourth, I think that's when the game started to get very interesting. I noticed that Ty Lue was playing a number of different players in that fourth quarter, right? And I think Ty Lue, this is just me, I think the Clippers should be very happy that they have the best coach in basketball, or one of the best. I think Clipper fans should be very happy. I think we did a video about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, where I said I will not doubt Ty Lue ever again. And I have no doubt. You're not going to hear any criticisms of Ty Lue from us, from this channel. You're just not. The guy knows what the hell he's doing. I think Ty Lue, for the first 2 games in the series, is trying to understand what players are best suited for this series. Simple and plain. In round 1, you didn't even see DeMarcus Cousins really touch the floor. You barely saw Ivica Zubac pass game 3. The only time Zubac would come in games was about for a 6, 7, 8 minute stretch, 9 minute stretch to give Nicholas Batum some minutes to rest. Ty Lue knows what the hell he's doing. He knows what the hell he's doing. So I have no kind of questions or concerns about what he's doing. I trust the guy. You know why? Because given the fact that he tried so many different lineups, it was still a very winnable game. Let's just be honest. For all of the things that we want to say, the Suns won that game on a buzzer beater with less than 1 second to go on the shot clock. Like, so if I'm a Phoenix Sun, I'm relieved that I won the game, but I wouldn't be walking around bumping my chest like, oh, we beat them. Oh my God, we beat it's a tip-in. When was the last time you saw a shot like that? Forget about in a playoff game, in a game, period. These shots, they can play the playoffs for the next 3 years, and you're not going to see a shot similar to that. It rarely happens, right? So you tip your hat to the Suns. They made a difficult shot at the end of the game, but it's not something worth hanging your head over. So going to that fourth, as I said, they had so many opportunities to seize control of that game. So many. But you know what? Sometimes that's just the way things are. It's not going to be perfect, right? It's just not going to be perfect. PG, however, Paul George, who I'm going to get to, in the last 2 minutes of that game, he got hot. He got hot. For all of the things that people are saying about Paul George today, understand this. If you are calling Paul George Pandemic P, I think we understand that these people are just trolls. There's no legitimate reason to be calling Paul George Pandemic P. And I agree. Somebody said Devo H. Paul George better delete his social media. I don't think he needs to better. I just think Paul George shouldn't waste 1 second of his time on social media, because what these people are saying truly doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter what these people are saying about Paul. It doesn't matter. Like, it literally has no effect. They're so far away from what he's doing that it has no effect on actually like what he's doing. I tell you guys, I wasn't very good in math in college. I was good when I was a kid, but when I got to college, for whatever reason, I was very bad at math. I don't know why. I was good in arithmetic, but I was very bad in like algebra and calculus and all that stuff. I don't know why. It just was it was too abstract for me. And I was like, okay, I can't really tie in. Finance, I understood. I'm like, okay, we're dealing with real numbers here. I can grasp this, right? But X and Z and all of it, it wasn't my thing. I couldn't get down with it. But I had a math teacher, and this guy made a very good point. His name, what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot. He played basketball, actually. Very nice guy, tall guy, very nice guy, very smart guy. And he gave me an analogy, and I think it fits perfectly. The comments that people leave about Paul George have zero effect on him. You know why? He said it's tantamount to us doing something here on Earth, and we're worried about the effect it's going to have on the moon. Whatever you're doing on Earth here has zero effect on what's happening on the moon. You know why? Because it's so far away, it has zero impact. So people calling Paul George Pandemic P and this, that, it only carries an effect if he acknowledges it. If Paul George doesn't acknowledge it, it has no effect on him. The only person it's affecting is the person that said it. That's all. Kawhi Leonard he said, I don't even know we were being criticized because he's not on social media. If Paul George doesn't pay attention to these comments, who is it affecting? The only person it's affecting is the guy saying it. So saying that he's Pandemic P and this, it changes nothing. You saying that about the guy only affects him if he listens to it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It basically doesn't exist, Andre. It absolutely doesn't exist. It only exists when you give it legs. We on our channel, we get a lot of funky comments, a lot of funny comments. Marco taught me how to just I'll just read it. Marco's Italian, right? Marco's Italian. I'll give you guys a quick, and I'll get back to my analysis here. Marco's Italian. And Italians are very expressive. If there are any Italians here or people that know Italians, they know they're very expressive people. So Marco had this thing where When Marco couldn't be bothered by something, right? When he couldn't be bothered by something, he would just do this kind of like expression. It was so funny. I was like, but I'm like, this is a superpower this dude has. When Marco identifies something as not even being worth his time, you know what Marco would do? I'd be like, man, what do you think about? He's like, he would just do this. He would do this. He would just be like, he would just be like this. You know what this means? Like the hell with that. He would just be like, and we wouldn't even talk. I'm like, he would dismiss. He would be like, man, please, like that, like whatever. That's the attitude we have to some of these comments. We see some of the stuff people say, and it is what it is. And I think that's the attitude that PG needs to have, man. It doesn't really matter because Paul George, let me get back into my notes here. For all of the criticism that this guy's taken, Paul George was the Clippers would not even be in a position for us to even sit here and talk about whether or not they lost the game by 1 point if it wasn't for PG. He was the only one that was hot in the fourth. Paul George, of all the players that were playing on the court, he was the only guy that scored 10 points. Plus, he was the only one. He was the only one. So I'm not going to criticize Paul George. The Clippers would not have even been in this game without the guy. Number one. Number two, he was big in the fourth. He missed those 2 free throws. Even me, I was shocked. I was like, wow, this dude actually stepped up to the free throw line and missed two of those free throws. I was shocked. People in Dreamerspro, they were shocked. They were like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe it. I think even he was shocked. But guess what? Sometimes stuff like that happens. It happens. What are you going to do? Let me give some stats on Paul George for the people that want to beat up on Paul George. Hey, one and only, thanks for following us on Instagram. Let me give you guys some stats on Paul George, these playoffs. Paul George, do y'all know that Paul George is he's leading all the players that are in the playoffs? Do you know Paul George has played the most minutes of anybody? Paul George, these playoffs, has played 610 minutes. The second player that came in number 2 was Kevin Durant. He played 485 minutes. Paul George is leading the playoffs in minutes. The guy was tired. That's not true. The other guy had 10 points in the fourth quarter. I forgot his name. Okay, no, you're wrong. Okay, wait. Luke Kennard. Okay, Luke Kennard. Sorry, you're correct. Luke Kennard. Paul George and Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard, yes. I didn't see that. Thanks for that correction. It was Luke Kennard. I apologize for that. I didn't see that in my notes. Thank you for that. Well noted. But the guy, okay, first of all, let's talk about PG for a second, and let's look at his playoff stats. In the regular season, Paul George was averaging 23.3 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 5.2 assists. Okay. Last year in the playoffs for the Clippers, PG averaged, think about this. This is the Paul George that people are criticizing. He averaged 20 points a game, 38.4%. He shot 40% from the field, 33% from 3. He shot 91% from the free throw line, got you 6.1 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.5 steals. That was Paul George in the playoffs last year. This year, in 15 games, he's playing 41 minutes a game. He's scoring 26.6 points per game. He's way better than he was even in the regular season. He's shooting 44% from the field, 36% from the 3. He's an 85.7% free throw shooter. What are the chances that somebody's shooting 85.7% from the 3? The free throw line misses through. It's an aberration. He's getting you 8.7 rebounds per game, 5.3 assists per game, and almost 1 steal and 1 block per game. These are Paul George's number. The Clippers wouldn't even be in the playoffs right now. They'll be home if this guy wasn't playing so well. He's been a superstar these playoffs. Let's just be honest. When the Clippers lost Kawhi Leonard, everyone thought they were going to lose last round. 1 second. This is GPA. Thanks for that. CA. If you hate on PG for anything over 2 close losses, then you should just become a Lakers fan because you're only here for a bandwagon. This guy sacrificed his body for absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, what do you want the guy to do? He's doing his best. How many minutes did Paul George play yesterday? He played. How many minutes did this guy play yesterday? Paul George played yesterday 42 minutes. I think he played at one point. I think he had played the full first half, and they had to sit him down just to catch his breath. The guy was trying. He was doing his best. He's been playing like a star. I know today people are giving him grades of, is he a D plus or D minus, grading him. You know what I'll give Paul George? A B plus B minus. B plus B minus. Because you know what? He didn't have a great game in the first half. He only had 5 points in the first half. Devin Booker had 4. And Paul George fought back in the second half. He finished strong. He missed those free throws. Should he have made those free? Should he have made at least one? Absolutely. Did those free throws misses cost him the game? Absolutely. You make one, it's a 2-point game. You make 2, you got to force them to take a 3. What are the chances they make a 3? It's very tough. Should he have made those shots? Absolutely. But those free throws. But he didn't. You live with it. You live with it. You know why? Because he's your star. If you can live with Paul George when he plays well, then you got to live with him when he comes up short. It's like some people that are married or in a relationship. It can't be, oh, my wife or my husband, one day he's the greatest person or they're the greatest partner in the world. The next day you people get into an argument, I want a divorce. This is the worst person ever. Can you imagine being in a relationship with somebody like that? One day, I love you. Oh, give me a kiss. Give me a hug. Oh, I love you so much. The next day, oh, I want a divorce. You're the worst thing that ever happened to me. I can't even deal with you anymore. It's like, what? Pick one. Pick one. He had a bad game. You move on. You know why? Because guess what? Clipper fans or people that, trust me, I would rather have Paul George than not have him. This guy has been redeeming himself these playoffs, and he did his best. They hit a tough shot at the end of the game. It's a tough one. I still have more notes. The Suns won that game. It was a tough shot. I don't know. Was it goaltending? I can't even tell you, to be quite honest with you. I've never seen a game won like that, except I think Tyson Chandler hit a game like that. I don't know if he was with the Suns. I think it was with the Suns, but I wasn't sure if it was in the playoffs. But the Clippers can't afford to dwell on that loss. They just can't. They cannot get emotionally hung up on that loss. They can't. Because if they do and they let that linger, it's going to carry over to game 3, which we're going to get to in a moment, which cannot happen. There cannot be any carryover. They got to wash it off and say, you know what, man? It was a tough loss. We had 2 very tough losses in Utah. Granted, they had Kawhi Leonard. But guess what? I think they had Kawhi Leonard. But guess what? You just got to move on. Because it's not like as if we can go back and, relitigate the game. We can't. So they lost. We got to move on. Now, I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard. I know a lot of people have been leaving comments about Kawhi Leonard. I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the likes. I want to get to Kawhi Leonard. People have been asking us a lot of questions about Kawhi. So I'm going to talk about Kawhi Leonard. I still got a lot of content in this live that I want to definitely get to. So just stick around with us. Let me get to Kawhi Leonard for a second here. I got a lot more things I want to discuss. Okay, let's talk about Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. I think the Clippers need Kawhi Leonard back. Like, I'm not delusional. Terrence Mann had the game of his life. I think he scored, 39, 37 points. He had the game of his life. That is not going to happen again. It's just not. It's just not going to happen again. Cameron Payne, or whatever his name is, Payne, he had an amazing game. How many of you are going to pencil in him for 25 points a game for the rest of the – it just won't happen again. It's just not going to happen again, right? They need Kawhi Leonard back. Like, we need to start focusing on this for a second. I think people are forgetting the fact that people that are making fun of the Clippers, even the Clippers fans themselves, we gotta realize something. Kawhi Leonard is their best player. Like, we gotta think about something. Kawhi Leonard is their best player. The Clippers are without their best player. They're without the best player. In this, is my opinion, I think Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the world. This is just me. I think they're playing without the best player in the world. So what do you expect to happen? Game 5, was it game 5 or was it game 6? These guys are putting up, I think, game 5 in Phoenix. That was an inspired performance. They went out there and they wanted to dedicate that game to Kawhi. Then game 6, the crowd. I mean, these are like adrenaline-led games. But at a certain point, reality is going to set in. And you're going to need the best player in the world. I'm sorry. You just don't replace the best player in the world and continue on and say, oh, well, you know what? We're going to win. No, it's going to be hard. Eventually, it's going to set in that you need him. In my opinion, I think he's the best player in the world. And I'm praying that he comes back because I think the Clippers need him to advance. I think the Clippers need him to advance. I'm just going to be honest. These are just my honest emotions. I think they need Kawhi Leonard to advance. Now, here's what else I think. I think the Clippers must. I don't even think it is a question. Game 3 is a must win. There's just no two ways about it. It is a must win. You're not going to go down 0-3 and come back and beat them four games in a row. I know that they beat the Utah Jazz 4 straight. I know that. But to do it again without your best play, and those 4 straight, 2 of them, Kawhi Leonard was there, right? So, listen, I think they need Kawhi Leonard in order to advance, and game 3 is a must win. Now, I pray, I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm wishing that Kawhi Leonard comes back in game 4. This is just my hope. Today is Wednesday. That means game 3 is on Thursday, which means that if he comes back on game 4, we're looking at Saturday. I'm hoping they can get him back by Saturday. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Hey, Marvin, I got to check that later. I can't do that right now. That's what I'm hoping. Thanks for that. I'll check it later. That's what I'm hoping because I think they need him. I think they need him. The Clippers can't afford to lose game 3 at home. Otherwise, the series is over. Like, in this league, you need talent to win. You need talent to win. If you don't have talent, it's just going to be really hard to win. It's going to be really, really, really hard to win. Like, let's just be honest. I'll give you guys an example. You remember the Phoenix Suns, they beat the Lakers in round 1. And this is why today I was listening to Shannon Sharp, a bit of him, and I was just like, Shannon Sharp got to cut it. I don't know. I don't know if his age. I don't know if Skip Bayless doesn't think about these things. But if I was debating Shannon Sharp, I would have been like, Shannon, or in my case, Mr. Sharp, because Shannon Sharp is an older guy than me. I would say, Mr. Sharp, you can't be serious. You can't be up here criticizing Paul George for something that your favorite player LeBron couldn't do. You're up here making fun of Paul George, calling him Pandemic P. Last time I checked, LeBron was on the Lakers without AD, right? He was missing 1 star. They couldn't beat the Suns. They couldn't even make it competitive. And you're laughing at Paul George for something that LeBron couldn't do. This is what I would say. You're laughing at the guy, calling him D- and D this and D that. But when the shoe was on the other foot, the Suns beat the brakes off of LeBron and these guys. He beat the brakes off of him. Thanks for that. Thanks for that comment, DCon 69. So you're making fun of Paul George, yet PG was able, without Kawhi Leonard, to go into Utah and beat them in Utah. And now it's the same Paul George You want to criticize and say Paul George shrinks like polyester? Like, come on. You can't be criticizing this guy for something your favorite player couldn't even do. It just makes no sense to me. And how Skip Bayless wasn't able to pick up on that, I don't know. I don't know. Now, let me say this. I think if the Clippers only had Kawhi Leonard, but they did not have Paul George this series, I have 100% confidence that the Clippers would beat the Suns. Let me say it again. If the Clippers did not have Paul George, but only Kawhi Leonard, I have 100% confidence that the Clippers would beat the brakes off of the Phoenix Suns. I have 100% confidence in that because the net gain that Kawhi Leonard would add to the Clippers is greater than what Devin Booker and Chris Paul give to the Suns combined. I'll say it again. The net gain of Kawhi Leonard is greater than what Chris Paul and Devin Booker would give to the Phoenix. And I don't even think this is a question. I don't even think it's a question. I think what Kawhi Leonard provides on offense, what he provides on defense, what he provides in his clutch ability, and what he provides in his IQ to understand how to close out games, I think it would be enough to overwhelm the Phoenix Suns. I just believe that. I saw him, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, and Pascal Siakam give it to the Milwaukee Bucks. I saw Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, and Pascal Siakam beat Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris. Was it Tobias Harris? I don't think Tobias Harris was there. I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and these guys in with the Philadelphia 76ers. 2 minutes with 2 free throws in crunch time. Emma Zoo wasn't looking. I'm disappointed in PG again. That's fair enough. Fair enough. I think the net gain of Kawhi is just that much more. I think Kawhi Leonard is enough to win this series by himself if he didn't have Paul George. For as great as Paul George is playing, for as great as he's playing, the only other player in these playoffs that is on the same level, or these are the only two players, was Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. That was it. In my opinion, these were the two best players in the playoffs in respective conferences. And I would pick Kawhi because of what he brings on defense. But his overall efficiency was right there on par with Kevin Durant, right there with him. KD in these playoffs averaged 34 points per game, playing 40 minutes a game, by the way. He shot 51% from the field. This is Kevin Durant. The person they were arguing who's the best player in the world, a conversation you will never hear Kawhi Leonard in. I don't know why. Whatever. He was shooting 40% from the three in 12 games, 87% from the free throw line, getting you 9.4 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1.6 blocks. That was Kevin Durant, these playoffs. That was KD, the absolute best player, at least in the Eastern Conference. You know Kawhi Leonard's numbers in these playoffs? Kawhi was averaging, before he went out, 30 points per game, 57% shooting from the field. Hear what I just said. 57% shooting 39.3% from the three, 88% from the free throw line, getting you 7.7 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 2.1 steals per game. 2.1 steals per game. He is unquestionably the best player left in these playoffs. It's pretty gross how Shannon Sharp howls at Black Lives Matter and mental health with Black athletes, but then turns around and makes a living off of You know what, man? I don't know what these guys be saying, man. As I said, I've taken the moon analysis, the analogy that I gave you guys. I don't really like. I respond to it because it's within our industry, but you can't take these guys seriously. But I think if the Clippers, thank you so much for that comment in that super chat. I think if they had Kawhi Leonard, they win this series without a doubt. And I think if it was just Kawhi Leonard, they'll beat the Bucks. I don't care what anybody feels. This is just what I feel. I just believe he's that much better. You see people chirping with Paul George, chirping with this guy, chirping with that. Have you noticed that I've never seen anybody talk trash to Kawhi Leonard since we've been in these playoffs? I haven't seen not one. Nobody talks trash to this dude. He's like Kobe. Nobody talks trash to Kobe or Jordan. You just don't. You can talk trash to every single person on the court except these guys. Not even Draymond Green tried it. I never saw Draymond Green say one word to Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs when they were in the finals. Not one word to him. He didn't call him nothing in the playoffs. He's just the guy you don't talk trash to, and that's who the Clippers are missing. You just can't replace that. You can't replace that. And I think it's going to be very hard for them to win this series without him. It's just going to be hard. The media fans are really undercover Laker fans, so if they hate Clippers so much, stop watching and enjoy LeBron in Barbados. Thanks for that, Tori. Thanks for that, Tori. Thank you so much for that. So for me, I just feel like, listen, Game 3 is a must win. Yesterday was a tough loss. PG, he could have won that game, but sometimes it happened. Oh, and by the way, let me say this. There were some people on the channel that came out here a few days ago when Paul George helped the Clippers come back in the playoffs. And they were like, weren't you saying that Paul George should get traded some days before? And I say, yeah, the Clippers should consider trading Paul George. Those people, I haven't seen you. People are coming down on Paul George. Who is here defending him? Who is here defending? It's me. The same people that were saying, oh, you're changing the script on Paul George. You're turning. Who is here defending him? On his worst day, who's here defending him? It's me. And Paul George is not even my favorite player. He's not even my favorite player, but I'm trying to defend the guy. So these guys that were coming out and saying this, I don't see you now. I'm here defending him on a day when nobody's really feeling like defending the guy. And I'm like, no, give him a chance. He's doing his best. The guy got tired. Cut him some slack. I was astonished that people were criticizing Kevin Durant. I was, listen, we all know that Skip Bayless is a LeBron James hater. There's no two ways about it. He is a flat-out LeBron James hater. Shannon Sharpe is right behind him with that hate for everybody else in KD. Down 2 starters and another injured. Clippers aren't supposed to win this series. The way, yeah, it's just unreal. Like, people, you know what amazes me? Nobody picked the Clippers to make it this far, and now they're like, you better win. What? I don't get it. You pick against, this is the team that people were saying that is afraid of the Lakers, psychologically weak, trying to figure out if they have mental issues. The same team that nobody gave a shot to is now the same team they're saying, you better win. What? So hold on a second. On the one hand, you don't believe Paul George is good. But on the other hand, you criticize him when he's not good. So which is it? Is it that he's not good? If you think he's bad, you shouldn't be surprised. Like, I don't get this thing with the Clipper. I don't understand it. You see so many behaviors that are just quite surprising to me. I just don't understand it. Which is it? Are the Clippers good or are they bad? People are talking about this guy. You never mentioned Kawhi Leonard. I don't know what it says. But anyway, so those are my thoughts and opinions on that. Again, if you guys want to live chat during these games, make sure you check us out on Dreamerspro Max. You guys can definitely sign up to that. Marco will post it in the comment section. Again, for those of you that also are on Instagram, that haven't followed us on Instagram, Marco has pinned that to the top of the comment section. So again, if you follow us on Instagram, I'm going to give you guys a shout out right now since we're towards the end of the live. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. I'll give you a shout out there. We usually respond to some comments on Instagram when we're on there. So if you guys follow us on IG, we're definitely going to give you guys a shout out during this live as we go. So because I know some people on IG and we don't talk much about it, so some people didn't even realize that we were on there. So make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, on IG. We're on there as well, so we can definitely try to keep in contact with some of you. I think we're definitely going to do a game 3. What do you call it? A game 3 preview. But as I said right now, I haven't heard anything from Kawhi Leonard. I think I saw somebody just sign up real quick. Just a second. Okay, I see Andrew Huang. Thanks for following us, Andrew. Let me just give a shout out to some of the people that are following us on Instagram. Let me just give a shout out real quick because I know some of you are on there. So let me just shout out some of the people that have followed us on IG. Just real quick. Let me see. Okay, let me see real quick. Let me just give you guys a quick shout out because I know some of you are on there. That just followed us. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy, for following us. Anderson Elder, thank you for following us. Tiffany Carter, thank you for following us. Who else? Let me just see. I know I know some other people did recently. So let me just see real quick. David Robinson, appreciate that, man. Thank you for following us. Let me just give you guys a quick shout out. We're not very good on IG, so we said let's just shout out some of the people that have been following us. So just give us a second here while I do that. Thank you, Santo Domingo. Appreciate that. We really appreciate that. Thank you for following us. Elizabeth, NJ, School 27. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for following us. My Material Life. Thank you again for following us on there. We're just trying to give as many shout outs as we can. So we're definitely going to start working on our IG and start posting there more. I see a lot of people comment there. We're not too active on IG because we're always doing other stuff here. So once again, I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this live. We really appreciate it. Diego, appreciate that. Thank you for following us. David Robinson. Yeah, we're definitely going to get to your messages once we're done with this live here. So thank you guys for being a part of that. Again, if you guys want to live chat with us, make sure you guys live chat, sign up to Dreamerspro Max. Dejan Petrovic. I hope I pronounced your name properly. Thank you for following us. We appreciate that. So make sure you catch us on Dreamerspro Max, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for being a part of this live. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for the support on the channel. We've been really growing, and it's quite surprising. So we appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.